Okay, hello. We're going to analyze the City Jungle poem, popular poem today, and I am going to take around about 15 minutes, which is the time that I'm going to suggest you allocate to analyzing the poem. After that, you'll do about 5 minutes of structuring and organizing your answer, and then after that, you're left with about 15, 20, 25 minutes to write the answer and then check it over. So what we're going to do is we are going to use the toolkit for poems, which is what I've explained to you before, which is the WITTSP, which is the words, the imagery, the tone, the theme, the structure, and the poetic devices. So that's what we're going to use, and we're going to analyze and annotate the poem first of all using that toolkit. So let's just get rid of that first. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing is the words, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through as if I was analyzing this poem with you in the exam. I'm just going to first go through and use the words. Okay, so let's go through. Right, I'm going to look at city and jungle. Okay, obviously the title is important, city and jungle. We're going to come back to that later. Okay, rain splinters down. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm just picking out the words which I think are relevant, the strong adjectives, the words which jump out at me. They've been chosen intentionally by the poet for a reason. The poet wants these words to have an effect on us, to make us think about things. So I'm picking out all the words which I think are relevant. Okay, shuffle here, hands in the pockets, the gutter. Okay, the gutter gargles, a motorbike snarls, dustbins flinch. Okay, streetlights bare. Okay, yellow teeth. That's a cat black tongue. Okay, lashes across the glistening back. Okay, lashes across the glistening back of the tarmac night. Okay. Okay, so there, I've underlined the words first of all. Okay, now I just quickly go back and think, okay, well, what do these words tell me? Okay, well, city and jungle. Okay, so the city is a jungle. Okay, the city is an urban place. Lots of people, lots of noise, lots of congestion. The jungle is also a dense, uninhabited, dangerous place. So is he saying that the city is a jungle? Is he saying that the city is a dangerous place? Okay, let's have a look through. Okay, rain splinters down. Okay, splinter. What do you think of when you think of splinter? You think of something sharp. You think of something pointed. You think of something painful. Yes? Okay. So, the idea that rain is splitting the town. Let's just write splitting here as well. Splitting the town in two. It's sharp and painful. Okay, lizard cars cruise by. Okay, lizard is a reptile. Okay, reptiles are cold-blooded. Okay, and they're predatory. Okay, just write out predatory here. They cruise by. Cruising suggests, if a motorbike cruise by, or a car, or a group of guys cruise by in a car, they're looking for something. Maybe there's an agenda. Okay, radiators grin. Okay, grin. Is that a friendly thing, grin? Or is it a kind of a hostile thing? If a reptile grins at you, okay, then I think it's kind of a threatening or a hostile action. And again with the agenda. Okay, thin headlights stare. Okay, staring. Staring is also a hostile thing, an aggressive thing. Thin, again, and I think that relates to the aggressive thing. If you narrow your eyes or you squint your eyes when you're staring at someone, it's a very provocative and aggressive thing. Shop doors keep their mouths shut. Okay, if you keep your mouth shut, okay, you don't want any trouble. So you're avoiding trouble here. Okay, so at this stage, I mean, let's just go back and remind ourselves of the title, The Jungle. So all of the words so far, hostile, aggressive, avoiding trouble, cold, predatory, thin, you know, again, it comes back to this idea that the city is a jungle. It is a dangerous place. Okay, let's carry on down here. Okay, the roadside, hunched houses, cough. Okay, if something is hunched over, then it means it's sort of protecting itself, or if you're hunched over, you know, you're not feeling very well, then maybe an illness there, and that complements the idea of coughing. Okay, if you're coughing and you're hunched over, then it's probably because you're not feeling very well. And at the roadside, you know, one can imagine, you know, someone stumbling around, along the roadside, you know, coughing, hunched over, not feeling very well. Okay, newspaper shuffle by. Why would you shuffle? What shuffles? Shuffles means that you're forlorn, maybe. You're feeling a little bit dejected. Dejected, or maybe you're feeling a little bit resigned about things. If you have your hands in your pockets, it also gives you the same idea of being resigned and dejected. Okay, the gutter gargles. Gargling suggests, you know, clearing your throat. So again, this idea of illness. Okay, and the gutter. Okay, here the gutter is always, you know, an image of you know, being in the gutter is like not a nice place to be. It's dirty down there, dirty and not very nice. Okay, a motorbike snarls. Okay, snarls is also an aggressive and hostile action. Okay, and the motorbike, you know, is a loud, harsh engine. So that's a good image to have. Okay, dustbins flinch. You flinch if you're scared, or if you're frightened by something. So again, this relates back to the idea of the city being a jungle, about, you know, there's lots of dangerous things out there, so, you know, those cause you to flinch. Streetlights bare their yellow teeth. Okay, well, here, baring teeth, that is sort of an image of a dog, you know, snarling, baring its teeth. Again, and a very sort of hostile, threatening, okay, we can say threatening or intimidating. These are all relevant words, intimidating. Okay, and yellow here, yellow suggests stained. So again, stained, you know, not healthy, not looked after, old, you know, uncared for. Let's just put uncared for. And also, if you relate yellow to street lights, you can also think of the idea of neon. So neon lights. Okay, the motorway's cat black tongue. Okay, cat black here is animal-like. Okay, so an animal-like image there. Lashes. Okay, lashes is also a very aggressive word. Glistening back of the tarmac night. Okay, glistening, shiny because of the rain, so it gives a lot of reflection. So rain and reflection. Maybe we have to reflect about the city and how harsh it is. Tarmac night. Tarmac is darkness. So you know, it's a dark place. Okay, so that's the word done. That's the word analysis done. And we've pulled a lot of information out of the poem from just doing that. And if you look at all of the annotation there, okay, you can see how much stuff we've got just from that first round. Okay, so if we go on to the next part, it is the imagery. Sorry. If we go on to the next part, it's the imagery, and we can have a look at that. Imagery is things to do with the senses, or what we see, what we smell, what we touch, things like that. So there's quite a lot of imagery around here, and I'm just going to circle a few. So the rain splintering the town, the lizard cars cruising by, okay, the shop doorways keeping their mouths shut, and sound, but there was the coughing, and being hunched over, so the house is coughing. Okay, newspapers shuffle by. Okay, why is it newspapers? The image there, newspapers, they're fragile, they're torn, they blow around in the city wind. Okay, the gutter. Okay, why use a motorbike? Dustbins flinch, because you can imagine them making that sound. Metal, thin metal, maybe banging. Street lights. The motorways, cat black tongue. Okay. And glistening back of the tarmac light. Okay, so there's some imagery there. And again, it's the rain which splinters the town. So it's the rain which divides the town. People want to get out of the rain. People want to be in shelter. Okay, lizard cars. Again, we've had this idea of the lizard being cold, predatory, with an agenda. The way it cruises around, looking for things to hunt. Shop doorways. Shop doorways being shut. It gives you the idea of people, homeless people sheltering in shop doorways. So you have that kind of image in your head. Houses coughing. Okay, so houses, rows and rows of houses at the roadside. Coughing means they're not feeling very well. They're ill. Okay, newspapers I just explained, fragile. They can easily torn. The gutter gargles. Gutter, as I mentioned, is like not a pleasant place to be. The gutter is where all of the the dirt, the grime, the litter, the trash sort of collects. The motorbike is a very harsh, aggressive vehicle. Dustbins, flimsy. Street lights doing their best to light up through the rain. And then the tongue. The tongue is a taste. The image, you have the idea of a tongue tasting, so tasting the dirt, the grime of the city. Okay, so there's some imagery for you. Okay, the tone and the theme. Well, the tone obviously is that the city is a dangerous place. It's a hostile place. It's threatening. It's intimidating. It's a frightening place. There's lots of things which make you flinch, which make you scared, and there's also a lot of sort of grime and illness. Not a great, it hasn't been upkept. So there's a lot of illness and stain and trash in the city, which causes people to hunker down, to mind their own business. That kind of effect. Okay, so I mean the theme here is it's a hostile, threatening, dangerous, forbidding place, the city, being compared to a jungle. Okay, the structure. Okay, when we talk about the structure of the poem, I'm just going to quickly go through it. Okay, here there's one line stanza. Here a two-line stanza. Let's just change the colour a little bit. Okay, here a three-line stanza, a two-line stanza, another three-line stanza, a two-line stanza, and then a long stanza at the end. I think there's a lot of punctuation here as well. So the full stops. There's not a lot of enjambment going on. So I think, and each stanza. Okay, so each stanza is a different part of the town and a different part of the city. As a threatening place or a forbidding place. you know, like the city is an aggressive, hostile, threatening place. You know, each of these stanzas is very short and sharp. So it's like the hostile stare, you know, the aggressive word, the aggressive snarl, you know, very short, sharp. So it sort of supports this idea of that. Okay, and then the last one, the poetic devices. Okay, because we're running out of time. Okay, so personification is obviously the biggest one. Okay, if you look at the idea of personification, radiator's grin. Radiator's grin, headlight stare, shop doors keep their mouths shut, houses cough, newspapers shuffle. There's a lot of personification in this poem. A motorbike snarls, dustbins flinch, streetlights bare. Okay, so, you know, by using personification, the poet is giving inanimate objects human qualities or human reactions, and that allows the poet to create the effect, you know, of the hostility of people, of the, you know, the city being an intimidating place, causes things to be scared and frightened. So personification. You've also got, as I was reading through her, C and C, cars cruise, hunched houses, cough, gutter gargles here. So there's some alliteration, okay, and the alliteration supports the idea of the sentence. You know, hunched houses, cough. Well, ha ha, you know, is the sort of sound of a cough, you know, a chest cough. So it supports that. Gutter gargles. It sounds like the gargling, doesn't it? Cars cruise by. Supports the idea of the lizard, reptile. Okay, and I think, okay, obviously, and then, you know, looking beyond the poetic device, we can talk how, you know, it's a very metaphorical poem. Everything is a metaphor for something else. You know, the motorbikes, metaphor for, you know, aggressive yobbos, newspapers shuffling by, you know, the people trying to get out of the city, hunched houses coughing, you know, the illness, the ill people, thin headlight stare, lizard cars, you know, the sort of, you know, the people, you know, the yobbos who might go around the town looking for trouble. Like I said, it's a very metaphorical poem. City, jungle is another metaphor. You know, the jungle, a metaphor for the city. Okay, so that is the analysis, you know, and the annotation. And as you can see, we've done a lot of stuff. Okay, part B of the tutorial, which is coming up, is going to be how we structure and organize those thoughts, getting ready for the answer. So that's going to be a sort of another, you know, 5 minutes before you actually answer. And then part C will be when I actually show you how we answer the, you know, the question in Peel format. Okay, thanks for your time. Thank you. Speak to you soon.